done what I wanted to do. I've seen my business grow. But what I did is I got outside of my comfort zone. And that was very hard for me. But basically, it's not going to work if I don't. So if I'm not willing to do it, it's not going to work for me. And Becky gave you all just the words. I mean, I could have just took my pen and marked everything off. But I've stepped outside of my comfort zone for sharing. I'm not afraid to tell people that I make money selling jewelry. I'm not afraid to tell people that that's how I've paid my car payment or that's how I've paid my electric bill. I'm not afraid to say those types of things because that's what God has put in my lap for a gift for me. I'm also not skipping any elements of my jewelry show, even if there's one person there. I'm doing my booking activity. I'm doing my sponsoring activity. I'm not shortchanging showing the jewelry or anything. I'm spending just the same amount of time and making sure I love on my hostess because I think that's what we're required to do. And then the last thing, Tandy and Allison recommended this book, Go for No. If you've not read it, it's fantastic because we shouldn't stop. We shouldn't stop at the yeses. You should go until you hear the no's. And basically, that's what I do is all someone can tell me is no. And I'm going to keep going through my yeses until I get to my next no. And then I'm going to keep going through my yeses until I get to my next no. So don't be afraid if somebody tells you no. It's okay. It's just not their time. It doesn't mean that they're completely out. They may come into your life again. And then the last thing that I want to mention, what I've really learned from all of this since July is just to be happy where you really are. So this is where I get into my testimony. I've been in the position that I'm in for a little over 2 years. Prior to being in that position, I felt like I was doing a great job in Premier. I had 6 folks in my downline, and I switched to a different job. And my downline moved or got pregnant or just things did not work in their lives to be a jewelry lady. And I ask a lot of questions, why? Why aren't you showing me the people that I need to talk to? Why aren't you giving me the words that I need to say? And I found out that I was the reason. I was not in a position in my life where I could love on a jeweler, where I could train a jeweler, where I could give her the opportunities that she needed to be successful. And I shared with my upline at Rally, I'm really circling back around to I'm ready to build my business. So being happy where you are and being content where you are, that makes a big difference. But what I want to say with being content is that you have to keep working. It's being okay with where you are, but still working the avenues that God gave you and seeing Premier as the gift that God gave you. And basically my takeaway from Rally that I feel has made me successful is that if I don't see Premier as a precious gift, I'm not going to cherish it. I'm not going to give it the time that it needs, the love that it needs, those types of things. So I've really tried to use Premier as a platform. You know, Becky's saying serve others. My reasons for getting into Premier was not financial at the time. So I try to remember that, and I've gave away a large majority of my profits since July because I do fundraising, and that's my way of giving back and serving others. So just don't forget that we are here to serve others. May not be financially, but to love on them.